Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 as we are Busch Series racing at the Talladega Super Speedway for the running of tonight's Talladega 312 presented by KRC. This is going to be another race on the Busch Series side of the custom schedule season, and as you see on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, as you've also seen for the remaining races, once we got to about the final dozen of the year for both the Cup and the Busch Series, the point standings between the top two, Greg Biffle and Ron Hornaday Jr. battling it out for a championship with 7 races to go coming into tonight's race at Talladega. It is a 247-point lead for our driver Greg Biffle coming into this one today, and Biffle qualified on the pole tonight, so that is going to help him. Likely going to have a good shot at least being able to get one lap led in the early going of this race today, and we'll see if he can hold on. I have not won at Talladega on this game in any of the 3 series so far, so hopefully we can get our first win tonight at Talladega on this game. Of course, it's the final chance to do so in the Busch Series, as this is the final Super Speedway race, in fact, on this Busch Series season. And we'll have 6 races to go following the checkered flag tonight, so we'll see if Biffle can try to maintain the points lead, potentially grow the points lead even more, or if he does lose a little bit of that points lead, hopefully he doesn't lose too much of it. Furfur Express, Mark DeMars, and others, welcome into the stream, and let's get this race kicked off without further ado tonight. 312 miles, 117 laps is going to be the distance. Green flag is in the air, and Greg Biffle leads the field at Talladega as they roll down into turn 1. 2x2 through most of the field. Greg Biffle gets the great jump off the start. Jimmy Hill in the 116 car, who qualified second, quickly pulls to the bottom lane behind Biffle, and they're already stacking up 3x3 from about row 3 on back. Biffle moving up in front of Jimmy Hill on the back straightaway, barely able to clear him. Biffle wants to get this first lap wet if he can. Blue Castleberry in the 138 car looks to the inside into turn 3. Jimmy Hill looks to the outside, and Kyle Busch is in the middle as they're 3 wide for second already. Castleberry bobbling a little bit down on that yellow line. Jimmy Hill off of turn 4 trying to lead lap 1, and he'll clear Greg Biffle. We'll see if he'll be able to lead this lap as Biffle hops in line behind him. And Jimmy Hill is going to lead lap number 1 at Talladega. Kevin Harvick to the inside for second. Biffle looks to the inside in turn 1. Hill almost throws the block, thought better of it, and Biffle charges back to the inside and will clear Hill off of turn 2. Hill bounces into the wall just a tad, and Kevin Harvick going to move into second. Off turn 4, this time it's the 22 car, Jason Keller on the outside, trying to get the outer lane to move on. One car is already slow going into turns 3 and 4 on lap 2. Seems like we've already seen our first engine failure just a couple laps in. 5 bonus points for Greg Biffle leading that last lap. Oh, cars are scattering around everywhere in the middle of the pack. They were almost 4 wide back there in turns 1 and 2. Biffle trying to lead Keller to the outside in the 22 car. And he'll have the lead middle of the back straightaway. Biffle nearly pulls up into Kevin Harvick. Realized there wasn't going to be enough room. Drafting in line behind the 22 car of Keller. Keller's got a pretty big lead up front of both the 21 and the 60 right now. 3 different leaders on the first 3 laps of the race. Kevin Harvick trying to move up to second. And it looks like he will. Biffle will have to slide in line in third between Harvick and Hermie Sadler. It is the Geek Dog. Back to the inside. Kevin Harvick. Haven't seen Ron Hornaday, at least in the early going of this race. Keller remains on the outside right now. It's giving Harvick a little bit more help. Harvick pulls on the bottom as soon as he clears Greg Biffle in the middle of the tri-oval. And Harvick's got a pretty big run right now on Keller. Into turns 1 and 2. Biffle going to go to the outside now. Harvick stays on the bottom, trying to get to the inside of the 22 of Keller. Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s up to 4th place. Harvick to the inside of Keller on the back straightaway. Biffle goes to the inside now, 3 wide, putting Harvick in the middle. 3 wide for the race lead. Biffle makes the 3 wide pass and clears both of them into turn 3. Trying to lead a second lap of the race. Off turn 4, Biffle going wide, going back to the inside to block the 21 of Harvick. 3 wide for second as Bobby Hamilton Jr. is actually on the bottom lane now near the yellow line. Oop, a little contact between Keller and Harvick back there for third. Behind the 25 car of Hamilton, who was in second. First caution of the truck race, 8 laps in. That does not surprise me. Surprised it wasn't sooner. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Predicting a blown engine or a tire today. Oh no. Don't say that. I hope not. 247 point lead. I'd hate to see that dissipate dramatically. Biffle DNFs in this one. He's not had great finishes on the super speedways in 2 of the 3 this year. He did win the season opener at Daytona, but then the next 2 races he finished outside the top 30 in the first Talladega race and then the second Daytona race that was under the lights. Keller going to lead this lap. We have had a lead change in all but 1 lap so far in the race today. Greg Biffle hops in line behind Keller on the inside. Kevin Harvick trying to clear for second and does. Kyle Busch working back into this as well as this giant pack at the front of the field is still tightly bunched together right now. A lot of close quarters racing in the early going of this one. Biffle to the inside again of Kevin Harvick and Jason Keller. Not quite 3 wide into turn 3, but 2 by 2 for the leaders. Biffle trying to get to the lead on Jason Keller. And he may clear him off turn 4. Looked like he did, but Kevin Harvick is now going to move to the inside. Harvick going to lead this time by at the start-finish line. You're right, though. On the EA Sports games, I stink on the super speedways. I won at Talladega on NASCAR Thunder 04 in the Cup Series, so I do have a win in the Cup Series here, but I don't think I won a Busch race at Talladega yet. If looking to the outside, Harvick going to continue to block. If looking down to the bottom, Harvick going to block there as well. Kyle Busch settling himself in third for the time being. Should be a 3 pit stop race tonight. Biffle by inches will lead that lap at the line over Kevin Harvick. Harvick trying to side draft the 60 of Biffle. So they continue to run side by side. No help for Harvick on the outside, though. Hamilton's a little bit too far back. Biffle trying to side draft the 21. Couldn't do it. Stays low. The help came to aid Biffle, but it was a little too late. Harvick, though, might put a little bit too much of a gap between himself and the 60, who's in second. Jason Keller was able to jump to the outside and get a great run to get up to third. Keller bobbles in the middle of turns 3 and 4, loses a little bit of ground. Last race came down to Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle 2 nights ago. Biffle by inches leads that lap again over Harvick. Oh, contact into turn 1. Harvick's in the wall. And that's going to drop Harvick outside the top 10. Biffle's going to have a gigantic lead over Keller and Busch on the back straightaway, and they're coming with massive runs. The first bit of contact we've seen today from the 60 car. A little too aggressive, trying to battle Kevin Harvick for the lead early. And now he's 3 wide middle, in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Oh boy, almost had contact from David Green in the 37 car as he's able to get back down to the bottom in front of him. I thought for a second Biffle was going to go for a ride. The bumps really throw you around on this racetrack. The old and bumpy surface at Talladega. I did purchase NASCAR 06 today, just to let you guys know. Again, that is coming up on the channel as soon as we wrap up these seasons that we're getting down to the wire on both the Busch and the Cup Series side. Maybe next weekend could be the start of NASCAR 06 on the channel, depending on if we clinch the titles early in both series. Right now we're pacing to, but obviously tonight's going to really dictate whether that's going to be capable or not for the Busch series. Kyle Busch trying to lead his first lap. That'll score him 5 bonus points as he will lead at the start-finish line. Greg Biffle has a massive run on the 5. Busch going up to block the 60. And he made a clean one. Biffle going to have to try that run out again. Fondell Ellery, welcome to the stream. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream as well. See you in the chat. Biffle again to the outside of Busch. Kyle gonna block the inside lane. And again, Biffle can't make the run to get around the 5. Remember, Greg Biffle comes in winning the last 5 Busch Series races. And to win 6 in a row in the Busch Series season, he needs to keep the streak alive at maybe one of the most difficult tracks to win at. And that's Talladega. And again, I have not won a Busch race at Talladega on this game. In fact, I haven't won at Talladega in general on this game, whether it's been the Cup or the Busch Series. Didn't have a truck race here. It was not on the 2004 Truck Series season. If we're going to get around Kyle Busch cleanly on the back straightaway, clears him into turn 3. It's going to be the 3rd different time Biffle's going to take the lead in today's race, assuming he leads back to the start-finish line. And Biffle will lead to the line by about a half a car length as Busch tries to charge hard on the outside again. Jason Keller going to drop behind the 60 of Biffle. One car going up towards the outside on Busch, giving Busch a little bit of a run. Biffle trying to side draft the 5, and he lost the bottom doing so. Busch nearly gets into the wall off turn 2, and Keller might have the momentum down low. Think I won't race at Talladega in this game? Are you talking about for the Cup Series? Yeah, that's the season finale in the Cup side. 4 races to go right now in the Cup Series and 6 at this one. Darlington is definitely turned into one of my favorite racetracks in the last couple seasons. I agree with you, Tim. A lot of lead changes going on in this one. We are going to maybe set a record in tonight's race for the Busch Series at least. And the fact that these guys are racing as clean as they are with how aggressive they've been racing in the early going is even more impressive. These Busch cars are hauling right now, 193 plus miles an hour into turn 3 in the pack. Biffle just finds a hole right now between Paul Menard and Bobby Hamilton. 15 laps into this one. They work their way back to the start-finish line, still caution-free. Talladega and the entire 42 of the 43 cars in the field are all nose to tail right now within a couple seconds of each other in this giant pack. Kyle Busch is actually putting a little bit of a gap right now in the pack. 2 and 3 wide behind him. Might be Matt Kenseth. No, it is Menard. Oh, little contact. One car got sandwiched into the wall, looked like, by David Green. I don't know who that was. Hamilton with a big block on the 22 car now of Jason Keller. See if these guys can maybe get a little bit bunched together without running side by side to maybe run down Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Busch is kind of pulled away a little bit. Yeah, I was at Darlington in 2020 for the Southern 500. Kevin Harvick won. That was when Truex tried to make a pass late on Chase Elliott, put him in the wall, like 20 to go, and they both ended up cutting tires, ended up having to pit. Big one will happen at any moment. The race that we've seen so far today, I would not doubt that, Michael. We tend to have cautions a lot at Daytona and Talladega during green flag pit stops in any series, whether it's Thunder 04 or even this game again on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Jason Keller, Greg Biffle working together right now in the back straightaway, using some share draft. Again, should be a 3-stop race today. Lap 18, Biffle just hit halfway on fuel. Definitely going to make it to lap 35. It's going to be interesting if he can get to lap 36. I don't think he'll try it. Don't want to risk running out of gas at Talladega. It's a long ways to get back around on this racetrack. Biffle and Keller working to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. right now. Keller and Biffle working together in the early going. Chevrolet and a Ford. Working past another Chevy right now and trying to catch the other one who's out in front of Kyle Busch in the 5 for Hendrick Motorsports. Not on the channel at least. I don't plan on doing the career modes for any of the EA Sports games. At least for right now. Sorry for scratch from the modified. If you're talking about 06, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the modified series in 06 or not. I might stay away from the modified series in 06 and just jump straight to truck, Busch, and Cup. But if you're talking about the career mode, yeah, I did. I think I'm only in the Busch series now. I haven't touched the career mode on this game in months. Since the weather started getting warmer, I haven't really had time to. During the winter, I was actually kind of keeping up with it. Not that the weather's been warm consistently here, but kind of a 3-car breakaway at the front of the field right now, and then everybody from 4th through 42nd all packed together. One car's out of the race with an engine failure. Keller's got a big run on Kyle Busch right now. Biffle's got a big run on the 22 car of Jason Keller. He'll look to the inside of Keller on the back straightaway, and he is there for 2nd place. And he will make the clean pass into turn 3 for 2nd. Now, is he close enough to be able to stay in the draft of Kyle Busch? Keller drafts behind the 60 of Biffle, so it might help Biffle out a little bit. Busch leading quite a few laps in the early going of this race. The first time he has led today. Hasn't looked back. We're just trying to stay in the draft of the 5 car. He's so close. He's definitely drafting off of him, but he's not close enough to pull forward. Keller behind him, you would think it would help a little bit, but it's a difference with only having 1 car behind you versus multiple cars behind you. Doesn't help the bumps again or throwing these cars around quite a bit on this older Talladega surface. Very worn out surface, and there's going to be quite a bit of tire wear in tonight's race. Tires will be of importance, so we'll see how the strategy will play itself out. Biffle challenges for the lead to the inside of Busch, and he leads that lap at the line. Side drafted Busch well enough to be able to pull him back and now clear into turn 1. Greg Biffle back out in front at Talladega once again. And Keller to the inside of Busch for second. Here comes that pack again. Once they caught Kyle Busch, the rest of the pack was able to follow in line behind the 22 car of Keller. And we've got a fight once again at the front of the field. Great racing today at Talladega, and clean for the most part as well. What you love to see. Oh, Keller gets sideways in the middle of turns 3 and 4, but he saves it down on the apron of the racetrack. He's still down low. I don't know if he has an engine failure or tire going down or something. He missed pit road. That checked up everybody from really 4th on back, allowing a 3-car breakaway of Kyle Busch, Bobby Hamilton, and Greg Biffle. And Biffle got hung out to dry with Hamilton going to the outside with the 5 of Busch. And now Hamilton takes his run to the inside of the 5 of Busch going into turn 1. They're side by side for the lead. That might allow the 60 of Biffle to stay in the draft, because if they would have stayed nose to tail, they had so much momentum going around the 60 car. I think they were going to pull away. They're side drafting each other enough right now that it's helping Biffle just enough. Busch on the outside, Hamilton down low. Hamilton with a big block on Busch off turn 4. And Biffle has a lot of momentum into the tri-oval at 195 miles an hour. In the Busch Series, nonetheless. These cars aren't as fast as the Cup cars, but they're pulling Cup car speeds today. Hamilton leads. Biffle to second. I've lost count of how many different drivers have already led a lap today. Keller's led some laps. Biffle's led some laps. Bobby Hamilton just led now. Kyle Busch has led some laps off and on. Kevin Harvick led some laps earlier. First lap was led by Jimmy Hill. So trying to side draft Bobby Hamilton. That didn't really work out too well. He's trying to side draft Kyle Busch side by side for second. Faster in the draft than leading. I get that. I just want to lead as many laps as possible, though, for points purposes, too. It's like there's another car that's very slow right now, working his way into the tri-oval. I think it's Jason Keller after he made a big save. He might be down a cylinder right now. We'll see if we get a caution before he goes a lap down to at least try to keep him in the race, as he's lost the draft from the main pack. Biffle to the inside of Kyle Busch for second. Biffle clears Busch in the tri-oval for second place. Massive run right now to the back of the 25 car. Down into turn 1 they go. Hamilton thought about blocking, didn't. Biffle, half his car down on the apron. No double yellow line rule tonight at Talladega, or all season long on the super speedways in general for both the Busch Cup and Truck Series. Caution is out for the first time today. That is the caution that will bail Jason Keller out, who lost the lead draft after getting sideways while running in third. Oh man, and that is a big crash involving multiple race cars. A lot of fantasy drivers involved. It looked like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cars at least involved, maybe more, 5. At least 5 cars involved in that accident as the 106 of Carl Richards gets blasted from behind. Greg Biffle's going to pit. We'll see if anybody else will follow him onto pit road. It looks like the entire field's going to be pitting here. So 4 tires with pitting under the caution flag. No adjustments to the 60 at Biffle. He just took the lead from Busch when the caution flag came out. Yeah, I want to say I'm like middle of the Busch Series season on the career mode on this game. First Busch season. Won the truck title my first year. Modified title my first year. I think I won an Odor title with the Modified Series as well. Kyle Busch going to win the race off of pit road. Greg Biffle going to come out second. And I don't know what the crew chief was talking about. A couple guys didn't pit. It seemed like everybody hit pit road. So So green flag back in the air. Busch will lead the field to the green at lap 31 at Talladega, following the first caution on lap 27. Involving 5 cars that look to be in turns 1 and 2, and Biffle gets a great launch on the restart, blows by Kyle Busch into turn 1, and Busch almost lost second place. It looked like Billy Parker in the 86 car tried to get underneath him. So Busch won the race out of the pits. Look at Kevin Harvick with the massive restart down on the bottom, trying to go 3 wide for second. Biffle's going to cut the momentum off. Actually, it's Kenny Wallace in the 23 car who sends himself 3 wide middle right now. Mark Martin in lane behind the 21 of Harvick, and Busch pulls in line, it looks like, behind Kenny Wallace, and Wallace is going to go from third to first on the restart. Busch may have kept it off the wall. There was a bit of contact between Greg Biffle and Kyle Busch. Biffle's just trying to hold on for dear life there, and so was Busch. That stalled the momentum out of the 60, and he's stuck on the outside with no help behind him right now. Everybody keeps going to the inside. He was in that third lane above Hermie Sadler and Kevin Harvick. Now Dale Jr. will allow him to pull down in line behind Sadler in 6th. Kenny Wallace had a great restart, though. And he's out in front. Over season 1, he swept both Daytona races. Yaley almost tried to squeeze in line between Biffle and Sadler. Biffle had a gigantic run, just got to the inside of the 18 car. Biffle going to get a little help from the 0-2, and he pulls clear on Yaley. It's going to be interesting to see if Keller can get back through here. He's led some laps in today's race. Obviously was running competitively in the top 3 when he got sideways in the middle of 1 and 2. Definitely caution he needed when he lost the lead draft. Or lost the draft in general from the, at the time, 42 car pack. It's going to be interesting if we see any debris cautions for that decent sized pile up that we had moments ago. So 2 RCR cars of Johnny Sauter and Kevin Harvick running 2nd and 3rd. We haven't seen Ron Hornaday towards the front of the field yet. To the inside of Harvick. 3 Cup regulars in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th trying to run down the 23 car. And Kenny Wallace, big block by Johnny Sauter, and nearly turned the 60 car of Greg Biffle around. That was a close call. The inexperienced Sauter with a massive move there. Costing Biffle momentum. Harvick jumps to the inside, but he can't clear the 60. Biffle got to go down to side draft to 21, and business has really picked up after the restart. Guys are being a lot more aggressive than what they were before the caution. I mean, they were being aggressive before, but they were doing it cleanly. Now they're not really doing it as clean. Biffle to the inside of Johnny Sauter now. Harvick going to take him 3 wide. Biffle got a little loose off turn 4, stayed in the gas, powered out of it. And Sauter clears up high as the 21 and the 60 side drafted each other enough below him. Great race here today so far. Sauter and Biffle running the outside. Kenny Wallace on the bottom, so is Kevin Harvick. Harvick jumps back in line now on the high side behind Biffle and Sauter in the trial. So they do get a run on Wallace. It's going to be a massive run coming from the 27 car of Johnny Sauter. Biffle underneath Sauter, though, in the back straightaway. And he should clear him into turn 3 for second, and hops in line quickly now behind the 23 car of Kenny Wallace. Harvick now going to draft with his teammate in the 27. Into the tri-oval they go. Side by side for the lead. Biffle to the inside of the 23 of Wallace. Kenny Wallace trying to pinch Biffle down in the middle of 1 and 2. Didn't work. Biffle slides up clear with a clean pass. And Wallace pulls down right in front of Johnny Sauter. Moves back to the outside off turn 2. Parker Kligerman battled for the lead in stage 1. Good for Parker. He's been great in the truck series the last couple seasons. He's always been a good truck driver, though. He has a couple wins. Proving that it's not just the super speedways he can run well at. Oh, we're 3 wide for the lead off turn 4. Biffle in the middle. Harvick down low. Biffle trying to side draft the 21. Kenny Wallace is up high. Harvick pulls clear of the 60, and the 60 pulls clear of the 23. Wallace made a big block on Sauter, stacking the pack up behind. Second time Harvick has led in tonight's race. Great move by Harvick to make that 3-wide pass off turn 4 work. Biffle at the bottom. Getting pinched by the 21 car. Oscar Ramirez Herrera, welcome to the stream. So everybody pit during the lap 27 caution. We're going to go a little ways before we see our second pit stops of the race. Oh, Biffle gets into Harvick after Harvick threw a block. Terrible block by the 21. And Harvick made a great save down on the apron of the racetrack. Biffle's way ahead of the pack, and he is going to get ran down. And now Harvick is on the bottom just trying to get up to speed, and he may be in danger now of losing the draft like Jason Keller was earlier. And here comes the pack behind Biffle. At the block for dear life, it looks like. That was a bad block by Kevin Harvick on the outside. He obviously wasn't clear. He did a great job saving it. He nearly turned himself. Wallace just squeezes to the inside of Biffle. Biffle gave up just a little bit of room. And here comes the whole pack. And Dale Jr. trying to take the lead for the first time today. And Junior Nation has to be on the edge of their seats. He also had some bad luck in the Busch Series in recent races. He's on the inside of Kenny Wallace, but Biffle wants to go with Wallace on the outside. Because he knows if Dale Jr. gets the lead, it might be game over. Jr. trying to side draft Wallace. Biffle got to physically bump draft Kenny Wallace on the back straightaway. Gets Wallace to the lead. Wallace trying to block Biffle, who goes to the inside for the lead himself into turn 3. Dale Jr. trying to help out the 60. Now he'll get to the inside as Kenny Wallace just scraped the wall off turn 4. And Biffle has to hop in line behind the 8 on the bottom. And Dale Jr. is going to get to the lead after Wallace gets into the wall. And Biffle has got his momentum lost. Slow car on the bottom of the track right now in turns 3 and 4. Likely going to be able to get to pit road this time. Biffle just squeezes between the 23 and the 25 to get back to the outside. By the way, the bump drafting might have worked down the back straightaway that last lap for Wallace and Biffle. Very hard to do with these Gen 4 cars. They made it look easy that time, especially on the bumpier Talladega surface. Could very easily turn somebody. Dale Jr. slowly pulling away. Look at Kyle Busch with an aggressive move. Biffle going to go down low with his teammate Mark Martin on the inside. Roush cars work well together in the Cup Series on the super speedways. We'll see how they'll work in this Busch Series race tonight. Wallace goes down to block the 9. Busch is on the outside. Hamilton looks to pull on the bottom behind Biffle now, and Busch doesn't really have a lot of help up there. Lost a couple positions that last lap. Biffle to the inside of Martin on the back straightaway. So much for the Roush cars working together. Biffle going to side draft the 9. Like that Pennzoil paint scheme that Mark Martin's been wheeling this season in the Busch Series. Kyle Busch down low, 3 wide. And tight into the tri-oval. Treacherous anytime these guys are 3 wide. Biffle's still 3 wide middle. Just cleared Martin and drops in line behind Bobby Hamilton. Another car to the inside. That would be Paul Menard in the 33. We've seen a lot of the RCR cars, run very well today. Kligerman wins stage 1. Awesome. Kenny Wallace to the inside of Dale Jr. for the lead up at the front of the field. Busch and Hamilton going to the bottom with Wallace. Jr. is going to get hung out to dry on the outside. Until a fellow Jr., Bobby Hamilton Jr., comes up behind him. So I think that's Harvick that has lost the lead draft that you see in turns 1 and 2 in the track map on the upper right-hand corner of the screen right now. He's going to need a caution before he goes a lap down. Kind of like when Keller got his timely caution earlier. Big block by Junior. Now Kenny Wallace is going to get stuck up high, and Kyle Busch is going to get back to the lead again. Before they blew an engine, it's game over for the title. A 5-car breakaway right now at the front of the field. Not by much. You can obviously see the pack out of the rear view of Greg Biffle in 5th place. Biffle just gets to the outside of Dale Jr. Jr. went to the bottom. Biffle didn't go with him. That hung Jr. out to dry and allows Biffle to clear on the outside for 4th. Drops back in line on the bottom. Jr. will get to draft behind the 60. Kenny Wallace may be looking to make another pass for the lead on Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Biffle to the inside of the 25 of Bobby Hamilton. Kenny's trying to get to the left rear corner panel. Kyle Busch, he might be there. Busch with a block into turn 1. Biffle clears Hamilton for 3rd. Dale Jr. follows Biffle on the inside lane. And again, Wallace on the back straightaway looks to the inside of Kyle Busch. He's got Biffle and Dale Jr. behind him. Well, bump draft to the back of the 23, even in the middle of turns 3 and 4. That's definitely risky. It's hard enough to bump draft with these cars as it is on this bumpy Talladega surface, let alone in the middle of the corner. Ball got wadded up. Turns 3 and 4. Busch another block on Wallace in the tri-oval. Another big block by Kyle Busch. He's giving up a lot of bottom on corner entry. One of these times, Kenny's going to get underneath him. Will it be this time on the back straightaway? Biffle's going for it himself. And he almost got turned. He was so flat going into turn 3, I wasn't sure if he was going to make the corner. And he got into Kenny Walls. Both cars kept it off the outside wall barely. And now here comes Dale Jr. back into the mix, and that's going to allow Kyle Busch to pull away a little more. The way the 23 and the 60 got stuck together going into turn 3 that last lap, I thought for a second there, Biffle's going to end up T-boned into the outside wall head on. Strange that both cars kept it off the wall, let alone just one of them. Usually see contact in that kind of scenario, especially on a corner entry. These high-rated speeds at Talladega, that's where the accident happens. Wallace is trying to side draft Biffle and pinch him on the inside. Biffle had half his car on the apron. He was just too flat going into the corner. It was such a big run. He couldn't hold it. Lap 50 as of right now. Again, everybody pit at lap 27. Or at least the lap 27 caution in this race today. We went green at lap 31. So about 20 laps right now on fuel these guys have ran during this current run. Greg Biffle to the outside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Drafts with Dale Jr. to get back up to third on the outside. And they'll try to run down Kyle Busch in the 5 car who leads this race. Still just shy of the halfway mark. Against a 2-stopper to the end yet. Great race so far tonight at Talladega. Only one caution. 5-car accident. I think it was in turns 3 and 4. All fantasy drivers in the middle of the pack were involved. 106 car of Carl Richards was on the inside racetrack. I ran into from behind and just turned up the track in front of the field. Some cars were able to miss through to the inside, and others were not able to miss at all, and it piled in. At least 5 cars involved, maybe more. No debris caution since that accident. I was wondering if we were going to get any. We did not see any. Top portion of the field starting to really space apart right now. Nearing the longest green flag run of the race. Rick Biffle, Dale Jr. on the inside. As they go into turn 3. Kyle Busch going to be able to pull down in front of Dale Jr. He'll hold on to the lead for now. Biffle almost losing Dale Jr. a little bit. Jr. trying to go up and side draft the 5 of Busch. In the tri-oval, very close to getting to the left rear corner panel of the 5. 2 Chevrolets battling for the lead at Talladega. You know the DEI car is so strong on the super speedways. Dale Jr. trying to get another win in the early 2000s at Talladega. This time in the Busch Series tonight. Trying to get his second win of the Busch Series season. Kyle Busch also looking for his second win of the Busch Series season. Biffle to the outside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Couldn't get around him. Jr. aggressively side drafts a 60. Biffle was kind of boxed in with nowhere to go. He had a big run, but Busch was in front of him and he had nowhere to go with it. Kyle Busch has led the most laps in this race so far. Seems like when he gets into the lead, he's been the hardest car to pass. He may have the fastest car in the field today. Doesn't always win you the race, though, in these NASCAR races, especially at a track like Talladega. But it certainly does help. Still trying to figure out where the move is going to come. When to make the move on Dale Jr. so he can try to clear him and then draft behind Busch. He's going to go down low in the tri-oval. I don't know if he had enough of a run. It's going to be hard to build the run up, though, with nobody behind the 60. I thought the Cup race at Dover was pretty good this last weekend. I was thoroughly entertained when doing the live commentary for it. Remember you saying you had fun? Way to stick out the rain to go back to the track on Monday. Busch blocked Jr. and then Jr. blocked Biffle. Probably going to have to run this fuel run out as far as possible before pitting, because it is going to be close on whether it's a two-stop race to the end or not. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside of Kyle Busch, side by side for the lead. Problem is Biffle's lost the draft of the top two. Final quarter of a tank of fuel, though, before Biffle's going to have to pit sometime soon. By the way, Harvick is still on the lead lap at least. Like I said, a caution will definitely bring him back into this one. We'll go into the outside. Turns 3 and 4, trying to allow some other cars a little bit closer behind to close in on him. He'll make the block off turn 4. Now they'll move to the outside. He'll go up and block Hamilton. Giving the run to Kenny Wallace down on the bottom. He'll take over third. We know Wallace has a fast car. Looks like Mark Martin will get to the inside of Bobby Hamilton as well for fifth. So the top two are about 2 seconds ahead of third on back. The top two, then you have a 4-car group. And more space before the rest of the pack. Kenny Wallace might have gotten a little bit too far out ahead of the 60. I don't even think Biffle could draft off of him, even with a little bit of help behind him right now. Seems like as the tires wear out, Biffle's not quite as fast. Be able to try and hold on. Going to go up the track and let Bobby Hamilton in the 25 car get underneath him. And he'll draft behind Hamilton. Hamilton pulls clear in the back straightaway, and Biffle's teammate Mark Martin will get him in. More cautions than normal. They drew more excitement. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of strategy that played in with the cautions, which is definitely what I like to see if there is going to be quite a few yellows. Battle for track position was so important. There was so much tire wear. There were teams running low on tires by the end of the race. We definitely both called it in the predictions, so Tim. We both said that there was either going to be very little cautions or a lot of yellows, and there were 13 total, so there was definitely a lot. Drafting behind Bobby Hamilton in the 25. It's looking like it's going to be right side tires only if Biffle has to pit under green flag conditions. If he pits under caution, and he'll take 4 tires. Biffle not as strong if there isn't as many cars in the pack, though. He's in danger of losing the 25 and the 23 in front of him now. He doesn't have a car in line behind him while he's trying to draft up the cars in front of him. It just doesn't seem like he's got enough speed to hang with the leaders. .4 seconds off the race lead right now is Greg Biffle. And he's definitely going to lose Bobby Hamilton and Kenny Wallace right now in turns 3 and 4. 1/8 of a tank of fuel left for Biffle. Lap 61 this time by. Mark Martin closes on Biffle in the tri-oval now as Biffle stays to the outside, and he'll let his teammate Martin get in front of him for 5th place so Biffle can try and draft off of him. Brian Rodriguez, welcome to the stream. Again, if you're just tuning in, it looks like Biffle just lost the draft to Mark Martin. He's barely clinging on the back straightaway right now. Martin's getting a pull off the cars in front of him, and Biffle has zero help again as he continues to free fall. Dale Jr. was able to take the lead away from Busch a little bit ago. So Junior leads right now as we're on the brink of our second pit stop of the race. But again, we had a caution lap 27 if you're just tuning in for the first time. It's our only caution of the race so far. This is the longest of the 2 green flag runs, now at a 31 lap green flag run. And the first one was 27 laps before we had a 5-car accident in turns 1 and 2 earlier, all involving fantasy drivers in the middle of the pack. We have a group of cars on pit road as we speak right now. And here comes some more cars closing in behind Biffle off turn 2. It looks like one of them is Ron Hornaday in the 2 car, who we haven't seen yet today, but he is working his way to Biffle, and they're trying to put him 3 wide right now. Contact between the Roush cars of Kenseth and Biffle into turn 3. And that's going to cost Biffle having any shot to stay with Atwood off turn 4, it looks like. Looks like Hornaday brushed the wall off turn 4 on the outside, cutting his momentum down. A lot of cars on pit road as we speak. Dale Jr. working his way into lap traffic, into turns 1 and 2 at lap 63. Casey Atwood down on the bottom of the racetrack. Biffle going up to block Hornaday on the outside. These are the 2 battling for the points and battling for the championship. Biffle will pit this time by. It'll be right side tires only. He's a 5.8 seconds behind Dale Jr. right now. And that is who Greg Biffle's going to be racing. Try and get off of pit road, get up to speed quicker than. But taking right sides only, he'll be able to at least close in a little bit. Can't lock the tires up onto pit road, but he did. As he didn't want to speed, he did lock the tires up just a tad. So full tank of fuel, no adjustments, right side tires only for Greg Biffle under the green flag stop. Second pit stop of the day, first green flag stop, and first 2 tire stop as well. And the Jackman has fallen over on the 60 team, and this is going to make for a slow 2 tire stop. And that is not something they need if they're going to want to try to cycle back out into the lead. That is costly. That's probably going to equate to a 4-tire stop. I mean, they're coming out side by side with Atwood right now. And somebody's going to have to give going into turn 1, and it looks like Atwood will let the Biff in front of him. There goes Kevin Harvick. Remember, he's a lap down. Looks like Dale Jr. just pit that time by. Mark Martin still on the racetrack. And here come some of the leaders. Kyle Busch, Kenny Wallace, Bobby Hamilton. That was costly for Greg Biffle. And he has old left side tires on top of the slow stop. And he's going to need a caution. See how many spots he's going to be able to cycle back in here. Not all the leaders have pit yet. Mark Martin's still on the track. Able to lead some laps. Biffle should get back in the top 10. Eventually, at least. Mike Bliss, Billy Parker. Biffle's in no man's land right now. I'll pause it real quick in the action so I can try to find a trivia question for you guys tonight, because I was not able to find one earlier. Trying to find a Talladega trivia question. Maybe. What's going on with Racing Reference right now? There we go. Couldn't find the page. All right, tonight's trivia question is, who is the most winningest driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Talladega? So tonight's trivia question on the channel is, who is the most winningest driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Talladega? And I'll give you guys the answer to that trivia question if I don't see it in the chat beforehand at lap 73. Car coming out of the apron right now, right into the back of another one. Kenseth just ran right into Jimmy Hill coming off of the pit lane. Casey Atwood closing in quick on Biffle. And it looks like Biffle cycled up to 6th. Taking right side tires only. It is not Dale Earnhardt Jr. Junior, believe it or not, only has one win at Talladega in the Busch Series. Busch/Xfinity. It is not Denny Hamlin. Atwood making the pass right now for 6th. Greg Biffle hoping he could draft with him. He doesn't want to lose the draft again. It's equal right side tires, but again, he took right sides only, trying to gain track position. He actually lost about 2 seconds because of the slow stop by his pit crew. Jackman falling over, costing Biffle a top 5 position right now, at least, maybe even the lead. It's not Ryan Blaney or Dave Blaney. None of the Blaneys. Mark DeMar's got the answer to tonight's trivia question. Martin Truex Jr. has the most wins at Talladega in Xfinity Series history, winning 3 in a row in the mid-2000s. And those 3 are the most of any driver. No other driver has 3 or more wins at Talladega in the Xfinity Series. So Martin Truex Jr. is tonight's trivia answer to the trivia question. It's kind of odd when you consider the fact that he's never won on a super speedway in the Cup Series, yet he is the most winningest driver in the Xfinity Series at Talladega. Not sure how that quite adds up. I think that just goes to show, though, how fast the DEI cars were at Daytona and Talladega, even in the Busch Series. Talk about the Cup Series success. In the Busch Series, they had just as much success. I guess that was Chance 2 Motorsports, but it was DEI funded. Yeah, it is MTJ. Biffle 7.3 seconds off the lead as he tries to draft with Casey Atwood right now. He cycled through green flag pit stops without a caution, in fact, just moments ago. It's going to be interesting to see if they are within a 1-stopper to the end of this race. car of Tiny Buchanan down on the bottom of the racetrack and is down a cylinder, at least staying on the apron, out of the way. I think Harvick's still holding on to the lead lap after all this time. Atwood and Biffle are running a little bit quicker than the leaders. Down to 6.9 seconds off the lead. Again, it was 7.3. Biffle and Atwood got synchronized together. Oh, the 2 to 3 tenths of a second quicker lap. I just don't know how much Biffle's going to be able to keep into this. Knowing he has old left side tires and the left front's already in the yellow. Remember, he did lock the tires up a bit coming into the pits too, which also burnt out the left front maybe a bit more. The answer to the trivia question was Martin Truex Jr. I see a couple of you guys still answering down in the chat. MTJ was the answer to tonight's trivia question. Atwood staying down on the inside, which is exactly where Biffle wants Atwood to run right now. Earnhardt Jr. trying to get his second career win in the Busch Series at Talladega tonight. Again, his second win total of the Busch Series season. His one Cup Series race win on the Cup Series side of the custom schedule seasons. Trying to get the Busch win today. We're getting down to the wire. I mean, we only have about 45 laps to go in this race. And we're only one pit stop out from the finish as well, and that window should open up in about another 10 laps or so. May see some drivers short pit. Oh, not this. Oh my gosh. We've got a bot down in the chat. We have not seen those bots in a very, very long time on the channel. Man, we were setting records. It had been a really, I mean, what? It's probably been a couple months since the last time we've had a bot. Atwood and Biffle now down to 5.6 seconds, it looks like, off the lead off turn 4. Atwood and Biffle are definitely closing in on one car, and I think it may be Mark Martin all by himself, and then the top 3, or I guess it would technically be the top 5, the front of the field are all in one pack. And Biffle overdrove turn 3, entered a little too flat. He may lose Atwood. He's clinging on barely. Lucky the 14's not drafting off of anybody in front of him. Look at the interval dropping though for Greg Biffle right now. Losing Casey Atwood. They were 5.3 seconds off the lead. Now Biffle's about 5.9 off the lead. Just like that. That little bobble costing them about 0.6 of a second. And they were 7.3 back at one point. Now the left rear tire starting to wear out a little more on the 60 as well. So he's right back down to about 5.8 seconds off the lead again. Problem is Atwood's running the middle groove now. Biffle wants to see if he can get him to run the inside again. Go to every NASCAR race on the Eastern Shore. What would that also include? Richmond and New Hampshire? Still do it. Daytona. I don't know if you'd include Darlington and Charlotte in on that. I don't know exactly what you mean by Eastern Shore. Yeah, I haven't been to New Hampshire or Richmond yet. Just went to Daytona finally earlier this year. It's at Darlington, Charlotte. And Darlington, Daytona. Those are definitely two tracks I highly recommend. Go to see a race at in person. Does that count Martinsville also? I mean, it's inland a couple hours, but then again, so is Charlotte. And Darlington, for that matter. I think it's like 2 hours inland. Seven or four is making. Oh my gosh! What? The bot's back again. Why? Why do we ban the bot, and then the bot somehow finds a way to keep coming back? I've got this. Report. There. Hopefully it's gone now. It's been a long time since we've had bots like that, though. We had a good run going. Loose for Biffle getting into turn 3 that time. If he could stay within this range interval-wise, I think he has a shot to take left sides only under the final stop as long as his crew doesn't make a mistake this time and hopefully cycle back to the lead. It should be the case. 5.9 seconds back. Looks like Atwood's dropping right back down under the yellow line again. Because even Atwood and Biffle are starting to not close in on Mark Martin anymore either. Biffle is about right at this range, 5.8 seconds off the lead when he pitted the last time. Lost 2 seconds because of the jackman falling over, making the right side tire pit stop. Hopefully with the left sides only, though. I mean, you won't have to round the race car, so maybe you won't trip. You would think. Biffle to the inside of Atwood. Wasn't trying to get underneath him. Atwood left so much bottom open. Biffle had such a big run. He doesn't want to back out of the gas just to stay behind him, because then they're not gaining any time unless they're flat-footing it around this racetrack. Field window's about open to the end of the race, right on the edge right now. Just waiting to see when the first drivers are going to peel off onto pit road, and I wonder if anybody in the top 5 is going to. As far back in the running order as Greg Biffle has ran all day on speed. Overdrove turns 1 and 2 a little bit. Atwood's running back down on that yellow line, though, in the middle of 1 and 2 at least. He's not doing that all the way around the track like he was earlier, though. Chastain, Hocevar, Kligerman, top 3. And there are cars on pit road right now as we speak, with 34 laps to go. So the window is open to the end of the race. And with this window open to the end of the race, will we even see a second caution the remainder of this one? Again, our only caution was at lap 27. There's Ron Hornaday. Hornaday is already short pit, so he's a lap down if we do get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stop. So that's risky for the 2 team. And he has no drafting help right now either. He's all by himself. So you would think that's also going to cost him time. I just don't know. This is going to be tough. They're gaining time, though, on Dale Jr. again. They stopped gaining time for a little bit. Now they're back to about 5.3 seconds off the lead. The closer they can get, the better for Biffle when he makes his final stop to hopefully cycle out in the lead. He's got older left sides right now, and he'll have older right sides a second time, but taking left sides only. This pit crew has got to get on it, though. They cannot make a mistake like they did that first stop, or Biffle's going to even lose more spots and just falling back to 7th, may lose out on a chance to get a top 10 finish. If that ends up happening. 32 laps to go. Carson Hocevar won stage 2. Ethan, welcome to the stream. 15 likes on the stream so far. Thanks everybody for hitting that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. Biffle still behind Casey Atwood on the back straightaway, and he has closed to about 5 seconds flat off the lead as they go back to the bottom into turns 3 and 4. And they have closed on the back of the 9 car of Mark Martin. Martin and Biffle are teammates. Biffle pitted at lap 63. So about 23, 24 laps this time by into this current green flag run. Martin thought about blocking Atwood. Couldn't do it. Atwood to the bottom of Martin for position. And Biffle not going to go with his teammate Martin. He's going to stick with Atwood. That's where the speed's at right now with the 14 and the 60. The problem is Atwood just cleared the 9 of Martin, and Biffle had to just kind of fall in line behind him. Now Biffle gets to the inside of Mark Martin on the back straightaway. Atwood's going to pull down to the bottom in front of Biffle. That's going to help him out to get by his teammate for 6th. The next 2 cars for position not too much further up ahead. Mark Martin peels to pit road this time. He'll short pit. He was one of the last cars to pit the last time, but he'll pit that time by 30 laps to go at Talladega, at the Talladega 312. Also just kind of wondering if this pack is going to get close together one more time for the end of the race. Without a caution, it's going to be tough. I don't buy this race is going to go over 90 laps, green flag to the end, though. Biffle's closed the gap. It's 4.5 seconds now behind race leader Dale Jr. off of turn 4. Biffle still drafts behind Atwood through the tri-oval. Get close enough behind Kenny Wallace and Bobby Hamilton to pull out a line and make the pass on Atwood. He just doesn't feel he's close yet. Not close. Oh, I mean, they're close, but I don't think he's close enough. He might have overdrove turns 1 and 2 just a bit. It's the third time he's entered really flat into the corner behind Atwood, and he lost time again behind him, but this time with the 23 and the 25 in front of the 14. 14 may get away from the 60 on the back straightaway. Biffle on older left side tires. He took right sides only under the last stop. If he loses Atwood, I think he's going to have to pit early, because he's got zero drafting help behind him with Mark Martin pitting a couple laps ago. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. Dale Jr. is in first place right now. With just 28 laps to go. Biffle has lost Casey Atwood, Kenny Wallace, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. We're all drafting in front of him. Biffle's 4.8 seconds off the lead. I think he's going to have to short pit, it seems like, this time by. He has no drafting help behind him. It's going to be left side tires only. He's got to make sure not to lock up the right front. The right front's already going to be pushing it to the end of the race as it is. So he definitely doesn't want to lock it up, but he's trying to get on the pit road. Taking as much speed as he can. Hasn't locked the tires up. Beautiful job by Biffle getting to pit road that time. So a mistake on the right side tire, only pit stop last time. They can't make a mistake this time. The window's open to the end of the race. Biffle is short pitting with left sides only. If he could cycle with Mark Martin, that would be ideal. No mistake that time. Clean stop for the 60 crew. And can I win for the first time on NASCAR 05 at Talladega tonight? I think Mark Martin in the 9 car is the next car in the draft, or, well, not in the draft, but by himself. Getting closer to Greg Biffle. Biffle not up to speed. Never mind, that's Kevin Harvick, who's the last car in the lead lap, who's been waiting for a caution for a really long time right now. Cycled through green flag pit stops that last time. I think Martin may be a lap down. And now Greg Biffle in 25th is the last car on the lead lap. Definitely cycled ahead of Dale Jr. The problem is, well, yes, he's short pit, but he still doesn't have drafting help, even though he just came off of pit road. And the leaders could probably go a little bit longer before they end up having to pit. I would expect them to pit within the next 7 to 8 laps. No, we haven't had the Mr. Clean crew in a little while. I fired them because they were making mistakes, and then we made a mistake tonight. But it's been a while since the last pit road error. Fortunately, it might cost us, though, if this stays green to the end and we don't have a shot at the lead again. We weren't in the lead when the mistake happened, but taking right sides only, we should have gained about the 5.8 seconds that we were back. Instead, we lost 2 seconds. That's how slow the stop was. It's a good thing I did go 2 tires. If I would have went 4 tires, and I probably would have been like 15 seconds off the lead. Again, we have not had a yellow since lap 27. A really, really long time so far. Without a caution flag. The field is very spaced out because we've already had 1 set of green flag pit stops. And we've had some other drivers pit recently as well. Biffle's definitely going to have to stay on the lead lap, because if we get a caution and the leaders catch him and lap him, he's going to get trapped a lap down the rest of the race. There's no free pass in the Busch Series in this game. Dude, Joji, welcome to the stream. Dale Jr. is definitely closed on Greg Biffle. When will Jr. pit? Not going to be that time. What is the amount of times? Well, this bot has been banned twice. This is the third time. I don't know what's going on with the bots tonight. It's been a long time since we've had bots on the channel, and they've all really come in within the last 20 to 30 laps. Are you kidding me? This is insane. My God. Bots win. I guess. I literally reported it, and then 2 seconds later, it's back again. That's the fourth time. Oh my God, this is just getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. See, it's saying unhide user. It's giving me the option that says unhide user on this channel. So that means it is hidden, yet it's still showing up. That's what it doesn't make any sense. Like, the bots are hidden, they just keep coming back up. I can't re-hide them. And all of a sudden, I think the bots messed me up. Because Dale Jr.'s got to run on Greg Biffle now, and he's looking to put him a lap down in turns 3 and 4, and he will on the outside. If we get a caution right now, I'm going to be ticked. And I blame the bots. I'm breaking my concentration. Dale Jr. has just lapped Greg Biffle. And Biffle not able to stay with him in the draft. Mark Martin's already made his stop. He's closing in on the back of the 60 right now. Biffle's going to go to the outside in turns 1 and 2. He's going to let Martin underneath him. He's going to draft behind Mark. Martin blew by the 60 of Biffle. And Biffle just can't keep up with these guys. He just doesn't have enough help behind him when the car that he lets by gets by. Here comes Kyle Busch in the 5 car next. He's actually in 2nd place right now. Nightbot, I have no clue what that is. More cars exiting pit road. Just look at how quickly Busch pulls Biffle off of turn 2 as well. This is insane. When will Busch and Jr. pit to at least get Biffle back on the lead lap? As well as Mark Martin for that matter as well. Back inside the top 20. More cars closing in behind the Biff. Not sure if they are cars that have pitted or not. Kenny Wallace in the 23 to the inside. And as soon as Biffle has drafting help and caught Kenny Wallace off turn 4, Wallace pits along with Bobby Hamilton Jr. My goodness. Biffle to 16th. Huge crash in the truck race. Hey, bot controls these bot things, jet stream, for rail cam for trains. I haven't had issues with the bots, and I mean, it's been a couple months since we've seen them, and they're just spamming over and over and over again on the channel right now. 5 times today. They're the same ones. Earnhardt Jr. trying to stay out quite a bit longer than everybody else right now. From pit road, Biffle's back inside the top 10. Should get around Menard for 9th. Will we get a caution as we have just 18 laps to go in this race? And look who it is. Ron Hornaday in the 2 car. Has caught Greg Biffle in turns 3 and 4. Biffle gonna let him go and try to draft with him and hope that he could stay with Hornaday. Dale Jr. is on pit road. Biffle back on the lead lap. Quite a ways off the race lead right now. We'll see if we get a caution. Lap 100. Luke Castleberry in the lead. He'll still have to pit yet. Pot slurking on Fridays. Next NASCAR 05 live stream is tomorrow night. It is another Busch Series race. It'll be at the Texas Motor Speedway. And that race will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, Texas Motor Speedway on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Luke Castleberry got a pit from the lead this time. Biffle runs in the 9th place position. We'll see who's going to cycle back to the lead following these pit stops. Biffle on old right side tires after taking left sides only during the last stop. Right sides only on the stop before that. Castleberry was the last car to pit. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. has cycled back to the lead at the Talladega Super Speedway with just 16 laps to go. Again, will we see a caution before the end of this race? Hornaday to 7th, Biffle to 8th. Biffle's about 11 seconds off the race lead. They're definitely not going to make that up. I don't think Junior's going to catch any lap traffic before the end of the race. Biffle definitely going to want to get around Hornaday before the end of the race. I don't think Ron Hornaday's led a lap yet today. He's had a very quiet day. Still in the top 10. Biffle does not want to get beat by him. So the two racing for the championship. He's willing to stay behind him for right now. If we get to about 4 or 5 laps to go and still haven't seen a caution yet, though, he's definitely going to try to pass him. I don't think they really have a shot of running down another driver for position, but it's worth a shot staying behind him. They are quicker than Dale Jr., but 3 to 4 tenths a second a lap is not quick enough this late in the race to catch him, considering how far back they are. Unless, again, Dale Jr. catches lap traffic, which I just don't think will happen. About 4 tenths of a second quicker that last lap, so maybe they'll catch some other drivers for position if they could just stay nose to tail. Biffle's going to have to make sure he gets around him and not Hornaday. Problem is, Biffle gets to the inside of Hornaday on the back straightaway. He'll make the pass on the 2 for 7th, and he'll clear him. So Biffle just got to get in front of him now. Didn't mean to do that, but might as well get in front of him now in case we do get a caution. That's 1 spot ahead. He'll restart. You never know what could happen. Yeah, Dale Jr.'s margin of victory is going to be pretty big if this stays green to the end. And once we got to those first pit stops, this field really spaced apart quite a bit. Hornaday almost gets around Biffle to the outside, but not quite. What if Hornaday just hooks Biffle on the last lap where there's no cautions? Just to try gain in the point standings? That'd be terrible. Terrible for Biffle, at least. Blocking back and forth on Hornaday off of turn 4. Hornaday to the inside of Biffle. As they head into turn 1. Hornaday has a spot. Biffle may be in danger of losing Hornaday in the draft. Barely holding on. Triple digits. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be high 40s and rainy at my house tomorrow. Super windy. I swear I live in an igloo 6 months out of the year. Like, 49 is not cold, but for middle of May it is. It looks like Biffle's going to lose Hornaday. So any shot of getting around him, slim to none. 11 laps to go. By the way, if we did get a caution and a restart, we wouldn't have any lap cars to the inside of the lead lap cars. Now, granted, I don't think anybody's a lap down on the track anyway. There might be a couple cars that lost the pace earlier. I think Tiny Buchanan. Maybe Kevin Harvick. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. Another car closing in on Greg Biffle. Biffle just has to decide, though, does he try to draft behind him and risk losing another position to try to catch Hornaday, or does he just try to stay in front of him to the end of the race? It looks like he'll just let him go. And it looks like it is the 33 car of Paul Menard. Menard going to draft behind Biffle, it looks like off turn 2. Nearly making contact. Biffle hangs on. Biffle's just going to block now in case we get a caution. Doesn't want to risk losing any more positions if he can't hang on in the draft behind another car. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to win Talladega yet on this game. We may have one more opportunity in the Cup Series in the season finale if we don't clinch the championship early enough. If so, hopefully we have better luck on NASCAR 06 on the super speedways. More cars in this pack right now. It's like Hermie Sadler in the 0-2, and then I can't tell who else. It looks like maybe either Ashton Lewis or J.J. Yaley. It's also caught this pack. I haven't seen an engine failure in a while. I wonder if we see one before the end of the race. They are 3 wide behind Biffle right now. Oh no, it nearly gets turned by Lewis. Lewis is going to save it on the apron of the racetrack going into the tri-oval. That costed Biffle 2 more spots. Dropping him back to 10th. Jimmy Johnson's not in the Busch Series in this game. He really never ran any Nationwide or Xfinity races part-time after he went Cup full-time. I think he did make a few starts here and there, but not as regular as these other drivers that are in this game, say, that are Cup guys. And the future EA Sports games, as you'll see on the channel as well. More cars on the draft catching Biffle. 7 laps to go. Biffle's in danger of not getting a top 10 today at Talladega again. It'll be the 3rd super speedway race he's going to fail to get a top 10 this season if he can't hold on. His car really clipped, though. I mean, it just hasn't even been that competitive since that first pit stop of the race, or first green flag stop, which would have been the 2nd pit stop total. They've had that mistake on pit road, and it cost them a chance at the win from there on because we never got another caution. Barely hanging on in front of Jason Keller. Keller got that timely 1 caution we had in this race, and now he's at least able to battle to try and get back inside the top 10. He's battling with Biffle and Dwayne Borland for that 10th place position right now. Oh, contact! Borland nearly turned himself off the front bumper of Jason Keller trying to make a block into turn 1. Stacking him up, and we almost had a caution, which would have set up a late race restart. Not quite. Going to buy Biffle a little bit more time. Five laps to go for Dale Jr. at the line right now. So 5 laps to go at Talladega. And no cautions on the final lap if we do get to the final lap of the race. If we get a caution really from now to the end, it could end the race. Be interesting to see if we actually get this thing restarted. Biffle's at least survived. I know we've only had 1 caution today, but it was very, very racy in the first half of this one. So J.J. Yaley and Jason Keller working in the draft to get to Biffle on the back straightaway. Biffle just going to be mirror driving and try to hold on to a top 10. Hornaday's going to beat him by a few positions tonight. At least a few. If not more, if Biffle can't hang on, as he's got 2 more spots he may end up losing in these closing laps. But he just does not have that fast of a car anymore. Not like he really sustained much damage. Just, for whatever reason, doesn't have the car he once did. Almost got to the inside of Biffle, not quite. Biffle holding on for all the points he can. He's going to lose a little bit, but he should still have at least a 1 race lead in the point standings with 6 races to go going into Texas tomorrow night. Hope for a better run. It looks like the win streak's going to come to an end as well, as he had 5 wins in a row coming into tonight's race in the Talladega 312. We get a caution now. The race is going to come to an end as we have just 3 laps remaining the 2.66 mile super speedway. Keller looks to the outside. Biffle will block him into turn 1. Back to the bottom, trying to block J.J. Yaley. A little contact. Oh, more contact with Yaley. Yaley sideways. He saves it. The slow car down on the apron of the racetrack, working his way into turn 3. Looks like it's Ashton Lewis. He got sideways a little bit ago, so he's falling a lap down, trying to limp it home to the finish. Two laps to go. I don't think that's surprising that there's been 8 cautions in a 147 lap race. It's quite a bit, especially on a track that's less than 1.5 miles in length. Welcome to the Truck Series. Terry Cook trying to battle for a top 10. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's about to win his 2nd race of the season. Still just behind lap traffic. A little over a lap for Biffle just to try and hang on to 10th and try to get the top 10 finish as he blocks Keller off turn 4. Keller nearly squeezed Terry Cook into the wall. Biffle trying to get his first top 10 in the 2 Talladega races this year. Keller in the wall in the tri-oval, trying to go up and block Cook on the outside. Cook is able to cut underneath him now. Into turns 1 and 2 because of it. Still barely holding on in front of those 2 cars behind him. Now it's 4 cars behind him. Mike Bliss and Blue Castleberry have joined. Checkered flag in the air. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won at Talladega. In the Talladega 312. His 2nd career win at the racetrack and his 2nd of the Busch Series season. Greg Biffle just trying to hold on for a top 10 finish off turn 4. Looks as if he should be able to do that as he goes down low. Back to the outside to block. So 10th place finish at Talladega today for Biffle. It's a good points day. He led some laps. He got a 10th place finish. He'll lose points to Hornaday today, but not many. And Dale Jr. goes on to win. I'll take it. 1 hour 45 minutes to get today's race in. 1 caution for 3 caution laps. 26 lead changes, most of them in the first half of the race. Average speed was 177.53 miles an hour, and Dale Jr. had a margin of victory of 6.2 seconds at Talladega nonetheless. We got through those first stops, and he dominated, really, from that point on. I thought Kyle Busch had the fastest car in the field today. I was wrong. Busch led 26 laps, and Dale Jr. led 62, leading about half the race and leading the most laps. That'll get Dale Jr. a max points today, even though he's not running for points in the Busch Series. Still at least in the standings. Kenny Wallace is going to end up 2nd with an 8th place run. Great run for him. Kyle Busch, again, finishes 3rd, 26 laps led. Casey Atwood, no laps led in 4th, and Mark Martin led 2 laps today. He'll round out the top 5. Bobby Hamilton Jr. led 6 laps, finishing 6th. Ron Hornaday did not lead a single lap, finishes in 7th, but he does gain a little bit over Greg Biffle. Paul Menard finishes 8th. Herbie Sadler 9th, and then again Greg Biffle rounds out the top 10, leading 8 laps today after qualifying on the pole. Quite a few different leaders. And a lot of drivers finished on the lead lap in this one. It looked like the top 30 finished on the lead lap. Had a few drivers that lost the draft, like Ashton Lewis, Nick Richardson, Dwayne Borland, and then Cody Holt DNF'd in this one, as well as Billy Parker, Matt Kenseth, Johnny Sauter, David Green, Tim Fedewa, Wally Renshaw, David Stremme, and Sean Batson. So quite a few engine failures. I didn't realize there was that many. 5, 6, Yeah, 9 engine failures in today's race. So 9 drivers failed to finish. I wonder how many of those got knocked out in that well, Wally Renshaw DNF during the caution flag. So we had 8 engine failures, and then Wally Renshaw DNF during the caution lap 27. Which he was the car that got drove from behind and then hit the outside wall head on before backing it into traffic. John Batson blew up on lap 1. Didn't even make it a full lap. And we'll check out that point standings. Those point standings before we get out of here tonight. Again, next race will be tomorrow night at Texas at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NASCAR 05. Just 6 races to go on the Busch Series season. It'll be a day race in the O'Reilly 300. Assetto Corsa. I downloaded NHL 22 last night finally. I don't know when I'm going to be able to play it though. Definitely not going to tonight. Probably won't be able to till maybe this weekend. I was banking on Sunday if I'm not able to go golfing in the morning, if the courses are still flooded from all the rain we're supposed to get tomorrow and the rain we had today. Before we obviously have our live stream Sunday afternoon for the live commentary of the Cup race at Darlington. So Ron Hornaday closes in 7 points today on Greg Biffle with a 7th place finish, no laps led, compared to Biffle's 8 laps led and a 10th place finish. 240 points is the difference right now between first and second. So Biffle still over a 1 race lead in the standings with 6 races to go. Kyle Busch obviously closed with a good day. Kenny Wallace, top 5 in points and a 2nd place finish today. He's still trying to remain in the top 5 in points. He's got a good shot. Luke Castleberry's up to 9th. He's the only fantasy driver right now in the top 10. And then Dale Jr. is still the highest Cup regular that hasn't run every race this year. And is 21st in points, which is actually pretty impressive, considering he's only ran about half the schedule. And just picked up his 2nd win. Like I said, if Dale Jr. was running the full season, he'd probably be leading the points. And then we're obviously leading it in the Busch Series. Alright, like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you guys on the channel tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of tonight's truck race. I think we're going to tune in and watch the rest of it. Live race commentary for the Cup Series on Sunday at Darlington for the throwback race. That starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. NASCAR 05 Busch Series racing at Texas at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you guys. Have a good rest of your Friday night. And have a good start to your weekend.